My beloved child, this is not the time to slumber or hesitate. The winds are shifting and the spiritual skies are stirring with intensity. I want you to understand this clearly. You are now standing in a moment where even what seems ordinary can suddenly turn into a storm. You are the next target, not because you are weak, but because you carry within you a light that makes darkness tremble. Do not think any of this happens by chance. Not a single arrow can be released without my permission. Yet I want you to stay alert, for the enemy of your soul is watching closely, searching for an opening to plant fear, doubt, and division within your heart. My child, be steadfast. What lies ahead may surpass what your mind can fathom, but it will never surpass my power. I am not asking you to fight alone. That is why I say, work with me. Do not rely on your own strength, your reasoning, or your earthly experience. Step into my secret place, the refuge where no storm can reach you, where the noise of the world fades and my voice becomes clear. There I will teach you to see through the eyes of the Spirit, to discern what is real and what is merely a mirage designed to lead you astray. Many will not understand what is happening inside you. They will think you are overreacting or too sensitive. But I tell you this, trust the stirring that I have placed within your heart. When my Spirit moves deeply within, it is a sign that something is shifting in the unseen realm. Do not silence that inner warning with excuses or explanations. Pray, listen, follow the guidance I give you. Only those who know how to hide themselves in obedience will remain standing when the fierce winds begin to blow. Do not fear when I say you are a target, my beloved. Take it as proof that you are walking in the right direction. Light always provokes darkness. When you live in truth, when you refuse to compromise with deception, you become a living testimony amid the world's chaos. And because of that, the enemy will not stay still. It will attempt to make you question your worth, to convince you that you are alone, that I have gone silent. But do not let those lies take root in your mind. Remember, when you are weak, I am strong in you. When you lose your way, I am the light that leads you home. In this hour, I want you to learn how to cooperate with heaven. Do not simply pray for me to fight in your place. Pray for me to fight alongside you. Let me be the strategist of your soul, the one who knows every move of your adversary, every scheme it plans. I will show you when to advance, when to stand still, when to speak, and when to be silent. Watchfulness is not fear. It is awareness of my presence moving within the invisible. The closer you stay to me, the harder it becomes for the enemy to touch you. Do not let your heart scatter in trivial worries. This is a time for focus. The restless winds outside are distractions meant to pull your attention away from what matters most, your communion with me. I am calling you deeper into the hidden place of prayer. Not prayer as a duty, but prayer as breath. Just as the body needs air to live, your soul needs this connection to survive. It is there that I will reveal to you what is to come. I never leave my people blind in the dark. I speak to those who choose to listen. Guard your mind, my child. Not every arrow comes from the outside. Some are fired from within, born from the negative thoughts you allow to linger. Stop every thought that does not come from me. Clothe yourself with the armor of faith, wear the helmet of salvation, and wield the sword of my word. Do not use your mouth to complain, but to declare victory. When you speak in alignment with my word, heavenly power is released. But when you fall silent in fear, the shadows gain ground. And remember this is not your battle alone. Many others are being awakened and raised at this very hour. I am connecting faithful hearts across the earth, uniting them in my spirit. Do not isolate yourself. Seek those who resonate with the same heavenly frequency, those whose hearts burn with holy fire and refuse to compromise with darkness. When my people stand together, the heavens shake, and the promises I have spoken begin to unfold before your very eyes. My child, do not expect the road to be easy. The path of the chosen has never been smooth. Yet within every trial you will witness the true strength of my power. When you walk through the storm and do not fall, the world will know that a mighty God walks beside you. The enemy's goal is not merely to harm you, it is to make you forget who you are in me. Therefore, remember this: you are not a victim, you are a warrior of light, a bearer of the royal authority of heaven. My beloved one, I see what human eyes cannot. I see into the depths of your soul, where a small, fragile flame still burns, one that has never gone out. That flame is the proof that no matter how fierce the storm, you still belong to the light. I have seen you fall many times, and I have seen your tears soak the dry ground of testing. But I have also seen in the thickest night how you still whisper my name, not with words but with breath, with the faint rhythm of a heart still holding on to faith. And because of that, I have come to tell you, I am still here. I still see, I still know, I still love. You do not realize it, but every time you choose to rise after a fall, every time you choose forgiveness over resentment, every time you choose to believe amidst uncertainty, the heavens tremble with awe. Those choices, though they may seem small to the world, are great victories in the Spirit. For when darkness cannot extinguish your faith, it knows that my power is at work through you. That is why I warn you, not to instill fear, but to prepare you for something deeper, a higher calling written into your soul before you were ever born. My child, I see the moments when you think I am silent. You ask, Lord, where are you in the midst of this chaos? But I have never left. I stand right there in the unseen battle, shielding you from arrows you cannot see. Every tear that falls from your eyes is recorded by me. Every weary breath you exhale, I know it. Do not mistake my silence for inaction. Many times I work in quietness, like a potter shaping clay in the dark until the light reveals the masterpiece. And that masterpiece, my child, is you. You may not understand all that is happening, but hear me. This battle is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to reveal what I have placed inside you. What is being tested is what will soon be used. A tree blooms only after enduring drought. Gold shines only after passing through fire. Likewise, your soul will find its strength only after walking through the storm. I do not want you to merely hear about me through others. I want you to know me through experience, through tears, through the moments when I arrive, precisely when you thought everything was lost. I know you are afraid. I know there are times when you feel too weak to stand against the tide that pulls at you. But I tell you this, it is in your weakness that my power is made perfect. I do not look for the flawless. I look for the willing. You do not need to prove yourself, just allow me to take your hand. When you surrender your weakness to me, I will give you strength that no storm can steal. When you place your wounds in my hands, I will forge them into weapons of healing. When you surrender your fears, I will turn them into courage. My beloved, I know there are moments when you want to give up, when everything feels meaningless, when your prayers run dry, when your faith flickers like a dying flame. But it is in that very moment that I am closest to you. For only when everything else falls away do you see clearly that I am your all in all. You may think you are holding on by a single fragile thread, but to me, that thread is strong enough to pull you from the depths. Do not despise the small steps of faith. They are the stones I use to build the path that will carry you through the storm, my child. In this world filled with noise, I see how you strive to keep your heart still. I see the way you choose to withdraw from the crowd, seeking a quiet place just to hear my whisper. That is what pleases me. For I do not seek performance. I seek a heart that listens. And I tell you this, the words I whisper in silence are not merely comfort. They are strategy, direction for the season ahead. I am teaching you how to listen, so that one day when I call amid the multitude, you will recognize my voice among all others. My child, you have asked why I chose you. It is because I see in you what others do not. I see faithfulness even in your silence. I see eyes that keep searching for the sacred, even when you cannot yet express it. You think you are small, yet I call you my messenger. You think you are unworthy, yet I see you covered by my grace and made worthy. And for that reason I warn you not to make you afraid, but to prepare you. What is coming will require you to stand firm, to be deep, and to be sensitive to my spirit. You will not be the same after this season. I am expanding your spirit, opening your eyes to perceive what you have never understood before. You will learn to recognize me not only in blessing but also in hardship. You will learn to discern my presence not only in songs but also in silence, in tears, and in the spaces between your breaths. For when you can see me in all things, you will never lose me again. And that is true freedom, not when the storm ceases, but when you know I am with you in the midst of it. My beloved one, understand this. The hope within you did not originate from you. It is the spark I placed there from the beginning, a flame that can never be extinguished. It is the hidden promise in your soul that all things will be redeemed. When you feel your faith is too small, remember that it was I who planted it there. And if you simply keep it alive, I will cause it to grow. I will breathe the wind of my spirit upon it until the fire burns bright. You do not need to understand everything. You only need to believe that I am at work. My child, the days ahead may be filled with trials, but I have gone before you. Every path you will walk, I have already prepared. Every door that must open, I have already crafted the key. Every person you are meant to meet, I have arranged at the appointed time. Therefore, do not let fear be your guide. Let faith lead the way. When you walk with me, even in the night, you are still on the right path. The darkness lasts only until dawn is allowed to come, and my light never arrives late. My child, remember this. I never give a warning without the intent to protect. I never speak beforehand without a plan to act. Every word that proceeds from my mouth carries the power to fulfill it. So when I speak to you today, open your heart. This is not merely a warning, it is a summons. I am calling you into a new phase, where your faith will be forged like steel, and your love for me will be refined like pure gold. Keep your heart tender, your eyes lifted, and your ears attentive. For I am speaking, I am moving, I am preparing. The world may shake, but I do not change. The winds may rise, but my hand still holds you. And when the storm has passed, you will look back and see that everything I allowed was to make you stronger, deeper, and closer to me than ever before. My beloved child, I speak to you of something vital. The enemy has marked you. It is not because you are weak, but because you carry immense worth in the kingdom of heaven. Within you burns something that darkness cannot endure, the light that is awakening the flame I have kindled in your heart. He trembles at what you are becoming. He knows that once you are fully revealed in my power and grace, the strongholds he built will collapse. That is why he has launched a cunning plan not to strike you down in an instant, but to erode your soul little by little, to dull your discernment, to make you drift from faith without even realizing it. My child, the enemy does not fear the weak, he fears the awakened. He does not fear those who merely read my word, but those who live in it. He trembles before the souls who discover their true identity, that they are not victims but warriors in the army of the King of Kings. He fears you because you are approaching the moment when I will entrust you with spiritual authority he cannot withstand. Therefore, he will try to pull you away from that position, not with screams but with whispers, with small thoughts, harmless distractions, and fears that seem reasonable. He knows that if he can make you weary or doubt yourself, you will begin to dismantle what I am building within you. Yet, my child, I will not leave you to walk in the dark. I am the Lord of light, not of shadow. I never allow those I love to be ambushed without warning. That is why I speak to you now, not to sow fear, but to equip your soul. I do not speak to fill your ears, but to open your eyes. For what is coming, though fierce, is not meant to destroy you, but to awaken you, to lift you to new heights of faith, understanding, and true communion with me. Understand this, my child, darkness only attacks where there is light. If there were no spiritual value within you, he would not bother. Because you bear a divine calling, he seeks to make you doubt it. He will remind you of your past, your mistakes, and your unhealed wounds, trying to make you forget that my grace has already covered it all. He wants you to view yourself through the lens of guilt instead of my gaze of love. But stay alert, my child. Every accusation comes from him, not from me. My voice always lifts you up, heals you, and leads you back to light. His voice only imprisons you in shame and despair. Guard your mind like a fortress, for the true battlefield lies within your thoughts. He will plant ideas to weaken you. You're not good enough. You're not loved. You will fail. But I tell you this, you have been sealed with the blood of the Lamb. No power can touch the soul I have purchased with my own life. Clothe yourself in the armor of faith, so that every arrow of doubt will glance off the shield I have given you. Let my word become the sword in your hand, not only for defense, but to strike down every lie that has bound you for so long. My child, I know you are weary. This battle is not gentle, and there are moments when you feel as though you stand in the ruins of what once felt solid. But remember this, I allow such shaking not to destroy you, but to reveal what is truly unshakable, not the things you once depended on, but me. I am dismantling what is false to build what will endure. Like a sculptor shaping stone, I am cutting away what is unnecessary so that the form of my perfect design may emerge. Every tremor, every breaking is merely the tool I use to shape you for glory. My beloved child, I do not promise that the path will be easy, but I promise you will never walk it alone. In every dark night, I remain the lamp that lights your way. When you see everything collapsing, look closer. It may simply be that the old walls are falling so that I may open a new road ahead. When you feel attacked from every side, do not panic. It is a sign that you are drawing near the threshold of breakthrough. Darkness always thrashes most violently just before the dawn. Know this, not a single scheme of the enemy escapes my hand. He plots, but I already know every move he will make. He thinks he is destroying, yet in truth he is unknowingly participating in your refinement. Each time he attacks, I use it to teach you how to conquer. Each time he makes you fall, I turn that very fall into a lesson on how to rise stronger. For I am the one who turns evil into good pain, into evidence of grace, and failure into a platform for glory. My beloved, never forget that you are being trained for something far greater than yourself. What you are enduring is not only to strengthen your faith, but to make you a vessel for others. You will rise not only for your own sake, but to lift those who have fallen. You will not only be healed, but will become a bearer of healing. That is why the enemy tries so hard to stop you early, because he knows that if you endure, you will rescue many souls from his grip. My child, I am refining you with fire, not to destroy, but to purify. As gold is tested in flame to remove its impurities, so your soul is being passed through fire to shine more radiant and pure. You will one day look back and realize that what you thought was loss was simply the process of me separating you from what no longer serves my purpose. Do not cling to the past, for I am writing a new chapter. Do not grieve over closed doors, for I am opening the one that leads to glory. And when I say, prepare it, is not to make you afraid, but to make you ready. Strengthen your faith through prayer. Soak your spirit in my word. Keep the flame within you burning, no matter how cold the world becomes. For soon I will pour out new authority upon you, not the kind born from status or fame, but from deep intimacy with me. You will speak and heaven will respond. You will pray and the gates of heaven will open. You will walk through darkness and still radiate light, for My light will shine through you. My beloved child, stand firm. Do not let fear rule you, for I have given you a spirit of power, love, and sound mind. Guard your heart, for from it flows the wellspring of life. When you choose to trust me in the midst of the storm, you cause the heavens themselves to rejoice. Walk with your head held high, not because you are strong enough, but because I, the one who dwells within you, am greater than all that stands against you. And remember this, my child, what is coming is not meant to destroy, but to awaken. It will not come to take away, but to stir up. It is not an ending. It is the beginning of a new season, the season in which I will raise you up as a torch in the night to light the path for those wandering in search of their way home. My beloved one, you will not walk alone. When the fire blazes, I will stand in the midst of it with you. When the wind howls, I will hold your hand so you do not lose your step. When the earth trembles, I will be the rock beneath your feet. And when all falls silent, I will be the whisper that follows like morning dew, calling your name with unchanging mercy. Open your heart and listen closely now. The coming shaking will not only strike the world outside, but will plow through the inner ground, the patterns of thought, the attachments you cling to, and every false sense of safety you've built. I have not come to frighten you, but to lift you from what is temporary onto a foundation that cannot be broken, the foundation that is me. There will be moments when uncertainty tries to make a nest in your mind. Questions will rise like waves upon waves. Why? How much longer? Am I enough? Your steps may falter like one walking on a bridge damp with mist. But my child, do not mistake my silence for absence. I am dismantling the fragile scaffolds you once built in seasons of fear, those habits of quick comfort, those hasty conclusions, those self-soothing words that were not rooted in truth. They once helped you survive a day, but they were never meant to carry your soul. I am tearing them down not to make you fall, but so that you might lean fully into my arms. You once called familiarity peace, but true peace only comes when your heart beats in rhythm with mine. The structures you built from memories and expectations, the ifs and musts, became a fragile roof over your head. When I send the wind, that roof trembles not to expose your shame, but to reveal a wider sky. You will see some doors close, not because you failed, but because you have outgrown their frame. Some people step away not because you are less worthy, but because I am moving you to a place where they can no longer go. Do not cling to what I am gently removing from your hands. Let me renew the way you think. I will teach you to discern the difference between the voice of fear and the call of faith. Fear urges you to run faster to avoid harm. Faith invites you to pause and look longer at me. Fear counts losses. Faith counts promises. Fear builds walls. Faith opens doors. When you hear my whisper, it does not corner you. It leads you into open spaces filled with light, where everything becomes clear. I am the shepherd, you are my sheep. I call you by name, and you recognize my voice amid the noise of the world. In the fire, I will show you what cannot burn. Ambition with the scent of pride will perish. Pointless self-blame will vanish like smoke. Old anger will fade away. What remains will be pure, a heart that listens, hands that give, feet ready to obey. In the wind, I will shake off the dried leaves of the old season, the labels others put on you, and the judgments you put on yourself. In the earthquake, I will break the invisible chains, the you musts that exhaust your soul, so that you can walk lightly after me with joy. And after all this, in the still small voice, I will carve upon your heart an unchanging truth. You are mine. My child, there will be nights when you awaken heavy with unanswered questions. Let your sighs become prayers. Do not fear silence. Silence is not absence. It is the space I use to weave the new. Like a craftsman quietly sharpening his blade before harvest, I am preparing the sword of my word upon your lips. You think you are waiting, but truly I am refining. You think you are delayed, but I am aligning the time. You wish the door would open now, yet I am teaching you the true key: obedience in every small step. I will reset the rhythm of your life. You will no longer chase after applause or shrink from mockery. You will learn to walk in the cadence of heaven, slow but steady, quiet yet strong. You will choose the secret place before the stage, authenticity before usefulness, grace before petty rightness. Then you will see, influence is not born from noise but from depth. Authority does not come from titles but from nearness to the one who holds every name. I will also reorder the relationships around you. Some will be brought closer, for they bring courage and remind you who you are in me. Others will loosen their hold not out of contempt, but because the season has changed. Be at peace to release without bitterness. Those meant for the new journey will take their place. Those meant only for a past chapter I bless and send away. You are not responsible for pulling everyone through gates whose keys I alone possess. You need only be faithful to those I entrust to you and to the voice that speaks your name. When confusion tries to cage your heart, answer it with the word. Speak to your soul, I know where my refuge is. Write the promise upon the invisible doorposts, I will be with you. Let your voice rise in the room, even if only as a whisper. You are my peace. Do not underestimate those quiet words. They awaken the underground streams beneath the desert. Every verse you hold close to your chest is a seed. In its season it will sprout in the dry ground, and when the tender shoot breaks through, you will know it was never you who kept yourself. It was I who kept you. I will teach you the art of walking through the fog. When you can see only one step ahead, take that one step. When your heart longs for a map, I give you a compass, my presence. When your mind demands answers, I give you a reminder, my grace is sufficient for you. Through each step you will learn an ancient, yet ever-new mystery. Peace is not found in control, but in surrender. And surrender is not giving up. It is placing the full weight of your life upon my unshakable arms. You will experience my whisper where others hear only the howl of the wind. It is a sound that does not break walls but pierces hearts. It comes when you wash your hands in stillness, when you walk through crowded streets, when you close your eyes before sleep. A simple phrase, a gentle thought, a small image that warms your soul. Practice answering, yes, here I am. For every time you respond, you dig a new well, and when thirst comes, you will drink from the very well your obedience has carved. Do not be dismayed when I ask you to lay down the works that once made you feel useful. At times I remove the good to give the perfect. At times I stay silent before your deepest questions so that no answer may take my place. At times I open doors you are afraid to enter so you may learn that courage too is my gift. Every arrangement of mine points to one goal: that you may grow in love. When love grows, fear shrinks. When love is complete, accusation loses its voice. When love reigns, you know you are safe even in the unknown. My child, remember, this shaking is not a sentence, it is an invitation. It calls you to step away from trembling ladders and stand upon the rock that cannot be moved. It invites you to shed the armor you forged for yourself, sharp-edged and heavy, and clothe yourself in the soft, enduring garment of peace. It calls you to stop counting the waves and learn instead to count the stars, the signs I hung in the night sky of your soul, testifying to an unbroken covenant. And when morning comes, you will realize, through the long night, my hand never let go. I am with you in the fire that it may not burn, in the wind that it may not sweep you away, in the quake that the true foundation may appear, in the whisper that your heart may find its way home. Be still and know that I am God. Let your breathing align with the rhythm of my love. Let your steps fall in tune with the cadence of grace. And as you go on, you will see what I have promised all along. What can be shaken will fall away, but what is mine in you will stand forever. My beloved one, I am dismantling the false comforts in your life. the things that seem to shelter you, but only veil your fear. You may feel empty as though the ground beneath you has been pulled away, but it is I who am rebuilding everything upon a foundation that cannot be shaken, the foundation of myself. For nothing is allowed to sit at the center of your heart but me. Nothing may define your worth but my love for you. The things you once called safe, the places you once leaned on, will now tremble, not to destroy you but to rebuild you upon the true rock where storms cannot reach. You may feel betrayed indeed. Sometimes the betrayal will come from those you trusted most, those you believed would never turn away. When that happens, do not let bitterness take root. Remember, it is not always their malice, but often my refining hand at work. I use both pain and silence to teach you to see beyond the surface, to discern what lies beneath emotion's mask. When I cut off a relationship, it is not to leave you alone, but to separate you from what cannot journey with you into the next season. I sift what surrounds you in order to purify what is within you. My beloved child, I know you do not like loss. You have asked me to let you keep what you love, but my child, there are things that, if kept, would leave you forever trapped in mediocrity. I must allow certain things to fall away so that I may give you what endures, things that come from me, not from the world. Just as a seed must fall into the ground and die for life to emerge, so too must the old within you pass away for the new to be born. Do not mourn what I have taken from your hands, for if it can be taken away, it was never truly yours. There will be days when your prayers seem meaningless, when you speak and the heavens remain silent, when you kneel and feel nothing but emptiness. Yet, my child, I have never been silent. I am merely speaking on a different frequency, one that ears of flesh cannot hear, but a humble heart can perceive. Incline your heart, not just your ears. Listen from the stillness within where my voice continues to speak. Often my voice is not thunderous, but a whisper that brushes against the soul. I do not speak through storms, but through the gentle wind, not in the noise of crowds, but in the quiet of a waiting heart. My child, I am teaching you to recognize my voice among 1,000 others. Amid the chaos of the world, the counsel, the promises, the fears and doubts, only my whisper leads you to true peace. To hear me is not to listen with your ears, but to commune with your spirit. When your soul grows still, when the noise of worry fades, you will begin to discern what is mine and what is merely the echo of fear. You will see that my voice always brings life, it never condemns, without offering a way back. Beloved one, I am drawing you into deeper intimacy, a communion beyond fleeting emotions. Once you loved me because you could feel my presence. Now I want you to love me even when you feel nothing. Once you believed when all was well. Now I want you to believe even in the darkness. This is the transformation of mature faith, where love no longer depends on feeling but on knowing. Knowing my nature, that I do not change even when the world falls apart. Knowing my covenant, that what I have promised will never be revoked even if everything else collapses. Knowing my love, that it is not rooted in your actions but in my essence, and I am love itself. My child, understand this: when I let you walk through a dry season, it is not punishment but an invitation to go deeper. Just as a mature lover does not need gifts to trust in affection, you will learn to trust me, even when I give you nothing you ask for. It is in the silence that the roots of your faith grow deeper into the solid ground of truth. It is in the drought that you will learn to live, not by dew from above, but by the living spring I have hidden within you. Do not fear, my child, when I remove what you once called blessings. Sometimes what you name as blessing is really bondage. Sometimes what you call trial is the very path that leads to freedom. I know you cannot see it now, but one day when you look back, you will realize that everything I took away cleared the path for something far greater. I never take without giving. It is only that what I give is deeper, stronger, and of eternal worth. And as I teach you to hear, my voice do not wait for loud signs. My voice does not come to perform, it comes to connect. It may come through a scripture that suddenly shines within you, through a soft breeze that stirs your heart, through a tear that falls at just the right moment, or through an unexplainable peace that settles upon you while everything around remains chaotic. That is me. You do not need to see me to know I am there. Just look back and you will see the traces I have left in every small thing. Beloved, the intimacy I call you into is not for those who chase after emotions, but for those who hunger for truth. There you will learn that loving me is not merely feeling, but choosing to trust, to remain faithful, to obey, even when no reward is in sight. And in the moments you choose to love me, amid silence, pain, and confusion, the heavens open. For such love no longer seeks gain. It becomes pure, refined, like gold through fire. My dear one, I am building within you a foundation that nothing can destroy, a faith that does not sway with the weather, a love that does not change with circumstance. When the winds of doubt blow, you will stand firm. When the fire of trial comes, you will not be consumed. For I am shaping within you a heart that truly knows who I am and is certain that I will never leave. Once you truly know me, you will no longer fear losing anything, because you will realize you already possess everything in me. And when this season passes, you will see that nothing was truly lost. Everything I pruned was to make room for what is new. Every silence of mine carried a hidden message. Every trial you endured was the hand of love teaching you to grow. I do not desire merely for you to survive. I desire for you to be transformed from one who seeks blessings to one who carries them. My beloved child, let me finish the work I have begun. Do not resist the rebuilding even when it hurts. Do not run from the refining even when it strips you bare. Let me uproot what is false, so that I may plant within you what is true, eternal, and reflective of my very nature. One day when you look back, you will smile through your tears and say, Lord, I have lost much, but what I have gained is you, and that is enough. My beloved one, the greatest danger you are about to face does not come from the world or from storms outside, but from what quietly seeps within. It does not roar like a lion. It whispers like the wind slipping through a crack in the door. It does not appear with a frightening face, but with the familiar mask of comfort, compromise, and weariness that tempts the soul to let go. These soft-spoken voices within are the most cunning enemies. For no one falls in a single moment. People fall gradually, when faith is worn down, little by little, when courage is replaced by the sweetness of compromise. Temptation does not always carry the shadow of obvious sin, my child. Sometimes it dresses itself in reason in the disguise of safety or being practical. It says, "You've tried enough. Stop now, or no one can stay different forever. Just blend in a little." It does not come to frighten you, it comes to lull your soul to sleep. It convinces you that surrendering a small piece of truth won't matter, but in that very moment, you begin to lose your spiritual compass. That is the danger within silent, patient, persistent like water that wears down stone over the years. I see the battles raging in your mind, the battle between what is right and what is easy, between faithfulness and compromise, between the call of heaven and the comfort of the world. There are days you want to stop fighting because it seems no one sees your effort, no one understands the struggle within. You hear the whisper, "What's the point? Why keep going when others live well without guarding truth?" But my child, that is the most deceitful lie. The enemy's goal is not always to make you betray me outright, but to make you doubt the worth of faithfulness, to doubt the value of obedience, to doubt even my love. But I tell you, chosen one, you are clothed in armor not made by human hands. not of iron, not of bronze, but of the light of truth and the power of faith. Every part of you, your will, your thoughts, your soul is covered by me. My truth is your shield, your helmet, your sword. When darkness tries to advance, do not think yourself weak. The weak are those who do not know they are armed. You carry within you the weapon hell fears most, the unchanging truth of God. This truth is not only to be spoken, but to be lived, breathed, and woven into every action. It will anchor you when the winds of confusion blow, when the world inverts every value, when those around you choose the easier road. Hold fast to the truth, not merely in your words, but in how you love, how you endure, how you respond. For when all else trembles, my truth will be the rope that keeps your soul from drifting away. Be vigilant, my child. Not every voice that speaks is mine. Many invitations sound sweet, but carry the scent of death. There are promises that glitter, but bring no light, only a quiet turning away from the path. This is a noisy age. Everyone has something to say. Everyone demands to be heard, but my voice never competes. I do not shout, nor force, nor manipulate. I invite softly, yet surely, tenderly, yet with strength. My voice brings peace, not confusion, clarity, not doubt, life, not emptiness. Therefore, guard your mind like a keeper of a lighthouse in a storm. The mind is the gateway to the soul. The enemy knows this, and he strikes there first. He plants the seed of doubt and waters it with fear. If you let it grow, it becomes a bitter tree, its roots sinking deep into the soul, bearing sour fruit in every word and action. Do not give that seed soil. Replace every false thought with my word. When you are weary, say, "The Lord is my strength." When you feel lost, remember, He is my way. When you are afraid, declare, "The Lord is my refuge and fortress." My beloved, you were not born to live in doubt. You were created to be a keeper of fire in a world growing cold. Do not forget that the flame within you was kindled by heaven, not by man. No earthly wind can extinguish it. When I called you out from the crowd, I also gave you the ability to hear my voice amid the chaos. Do not seek me in the noise of the world. Seek me in the stillness, in the breath, in the peace that surpasses understanding. You will know my voice, not because you have studied to recognize it, but because your soul was born to respond to it. Just as the sheep know the voice of their shepherd, so will you know me, without reasoning, without proof. When you hear a voice that quiets your heart and draws you toward the light that is me. When a thought stirs within you and makes you feel loved without condemnation, that is me. When a whisper strengthens your resolve to rise and continue, that is me. But the voices that drain you, accuse you, and make you fear me. My child, those are not mine. I never use fear to control. I do not force love, nor do I compel obedience through punishment. I call through love, love that makes you want to draw near, to trust, to be transformed. I never manipulate you with guilt or shame. I heal you with truth. For only truth can set you free, and true freedom can exist only within love. My child, be discerning in this hour. Learn to distinguish my voice from the voice of the flesh and the whispers of the enemy. When you hear something that pulls you away from peace, pause. When something urges you to act in haste, be still, for I never speak through panic. When you are pushed into fear, know that I am not there. I lead, but I do not shove. I illuminate, but I do not blind. I correct, but I do not humiliate. Beloved, this is the moment when you must learn to stand in the storm and yet keep your inner stillness. Do not let the winds of opinion, trends, and the noise of the age sweep you away. I am seeking hearts that can remain anchored in me amid the waves, so that through them the world may see my light. You have been chosen to be such a one, not to react from fear, but to reflect love. When others are confused, you will be at peace. When others judge, you will show mercy. When others despair, you will become living proof that hope still breathes. Therefore, guard your mind as a watchman guards the gates of a fortress. Break every lie before it takes root. Let your mind become the dwelling place of my word, not the soil where the enemy sows doubt. And when you stand firm in this, you will become a lamp not only lighting your own path, but guiding those lost in darkness. My beloved child, understand this every time I correct you. It is never to wound you. My discipline is always wrapped in deep love, clothed in mercy. When I refine you, I do not strike to destroy, but to restore like a jeweler, polishing a precious stone, so it may shine brighter like a gardener, pruning dry branches so new blossoms can bloom. I have never acted, nor will I ever act outside of love. Even when my touch causes pain, it bears the mark of kindness. I do not tear you down, I reshape you in my image. A crossroads will come, my child, where you must choose. No one will stand beside you pointing out which way is right or wrong. There will be no signpost on the path, no thunder from heaven. It will come quietly hidden in the ordinary moments of life. Yet your soul where I dwell will know. It will be the moment when you must choose between comfort and what is right, between clinging to ease or stepping into obedience. A small choice, perhaps, yet it carries the weight to shape your destiny. Many around you will choose the easier way. They will smile within their temporary safety. They will rest content in their comfort zones. They will tell you that you need not obey so deeply that God will still love you without sacrifice. They will advise you to blend in, to seek peace at any cost. But my child, you were not called to a life of mediocrity. You were not formed for complacency. You were chosen to walk the narrow road, the one few choose. But it is the path of power, of destiny, of true communion with me. Do not envy the ease of those who live without a calling. Do not let your heart be shaken by the outward appearance of their blessings. Some blessings are temporary, and some smiles conceal emptiness. Do not measure your success by the standards of the world, for I do not look at appearances, I look at the heart. And within you I see a flame. I, myself, have kindled a flame, not meant to warm a single room, but to illuminate the land around you. The narrow road to which I have called you may be lonely. There will be days when no one understands, when no one empathizes, when you are misjudged and even rejected. Yet do not fear solitude, for it is the space I use to meet you most intimately. In the stillness of isolation you will hear my voice most clearly. In the absence of others' lights you will see the radiance of my own. Remember this, I walk with you step by step, heartbeat by heartbeat. My footprints are already pressed into the path before yours. My beloved, this journey is not only a personal pilgrimage, it is a path that breaks generational chains. Flowing through your veins are old patterns, fear, doubt, wounds, betrayal, bondages that enslave generations before you and seek to continue. But you have been chosen to stop the cycle. You have been called to cut it off, to alter history, to write a new story for those who will come after. You are the vessel I am using to shatter invisible chains that have bound your lineage. When you obey, you are not only setting yourself free, you are opening the gates for blessings to pour into your family and future generations. That is why your battle feels fiercer than others. That is why your price is higher, your pain deeper, your testing greater. For I am not refining you only for yourself, but through you, I am preparing to release many others. You are walking the path of destiny, the road where strong souls are forged. Do not view it with natural eyes, see it through the eyes of the Spirit. For in every sorrow lies a promise waiting to be fulfilled. In every tear lies a seed of glory beginning to sprout. I know there are times you want to stop. At moments you ask, am I truly on the right path? Why is the right way so difficult? But my child, it is worth walking precisely because it is hard. It is precious because it is narrow. and few find its end. Yet I tell you this, every step you take in obedience is recorded in heaven. Every time you choose me over comfort you lose. Nothing you are storing treasures that no one can take away. There will be those who mock your faith. Some will say you trust too much, that you are naive. They will boast in their cleverness and their skill in compromise. But I tell you, the wisdom of the world is foolishness in my eyes. And what the world calls foolish, that is the road that leads to life. Do not seek the approval of men. Seek the confirmation of the Holy Spirit within you. When you choose what is right, even unseen, that is when you are closest to me. The path of obedience is not always radiant. Sometimes it is made of quiet steps in the dark of choices, known only to you and me. But in that hidden place I am preparing you for a season of unveiling. I am working behind the curtain of your soul, shaping you for a glory that no human eye has yet witnessed. When you are faithful to me in small things, I will entrust you with great ones. When you stand firm through trials, I will place in your hands the power to transform reality. My beloved child, what I am preparing for you goes far beyond your understanding. It is not merely a blessing meant for you alone, but a calling meant for an entire generation. You will be the vessel through which I bring light to places long ruled by darkness. You will speak and chains will fall. You will pray and the heavens will answer. You will stand, and the very ground around you will be transformed. Yet it all begins with one choice, the choice to walk the narrow path, to choose me over comfort, to choose faith over fleeting feelings. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. Though unseen, thousands of angels surround you, guarding every step. I go before you to prepare the way, and my Spirit dwells within you to guide every decision. Do not fear losing your direction, for even when you do not know where you are going, as long as you hold my hand, you are exactly where you need to be. And when you see others seem to succeed more quickly or easily, do not compare yourself to them. The tree that grows the fastest is not always the one that endures. The seed I have planted in you needs time to take deep root, for I am not building you for a season but for a lifetime. Trust that what I am doing in silence will bloom in brilliance at the appointed time I have chosen. My child, do not fear the narrow road, for it is the one I walk with you. It is the path that leads to power, purpose, and glory, beyond anything your mind could imagine. As you walk, you will discover that obedience is not a burden, but a key that unlocks true freedom. And when you look back, you will see that everything you lost, comfort, approval, or worldly applause, is nothing compared to what you gained, me and all that I am. My beloved one, you cannot live apart from my presence and still expect to find peace. I am not a resting stop along your hurried path of searching. I am the wellspring that sustains your soul every moment. Learn to dwell in me, not occasionally, not only when you are weary, but as naturally as your breathing, as constant as your heartbeat, as essential as light itself. My presence is not a place you visit. It is the home of your soul. When you remain in me, everything around you finds its rightful order. When you remain in me, darkness cannot touch your mind. My child, let my word become your daily bread, not a supplement for your dry days, but the very nourishment that keeps your spirit alive. My word is not just to be read, but to be lived, inhaled, and woven into your every thought and action. Do not seek my word only when you are in trouble, for if you eat only when hungry, you will always remain weak. Let my word flow through your veins, shaping how you see, how you respond, and how you love. My word is your sword, your shield, and your spring of living water in the wilderness. It will remind you that you do not live by emotion, but by truth. This world, my child, is full of noise, countless voices demanding to be heard, opinions fighting to control the mind. But only one voice is worthy of your attention, mine. Do not let the world define who you are, and do not let public opinion dictate what is right. Let my word shape every thought, so that you will not become a product of the noise but a reflection of the light. When others chase after the latest news, you must run to my word. When they seek counsel in the crowd, seek wisdom in the quiet place with me. My child, my spirit, is your compass. He is not only the wind that moves, but the faithful guide who never misleads. He knows you better than you know yourself, and he always points you in the right direction, even in the darkest night. But you must learn to pause and listen, for his voice does not shout, it whispers. Invite me into every decision, even the smallest ones. Do not hesitate to ask about the things that seem trivial, for nothing concerning you is trivial to me. Every detail of your life is an opportunity for me to reveal myself. When you ask, I will answer. When you draw me in, I will fill you with clarity that no human wisdom can provide. My child, I know you are living in an age filled with countless voices claiming to be the truth. Many speak in my name, yet their hearts are far from me. That is why you must anchor yourself deeply in my true presence, so that when the storms of deception rise, you will remain unshaken. The battle ahead will not only be between light and darkness, but between what is genuine and what is false, between what appears strong and what is truly steadfast. Many who were once praised will fall, for their strength was built on applause, on the approval of crowds, on performances meant to attract rather than to honor. But false light cannot survive the wind of testing. When the fire of my spirit blows through, only what is real will remain standing. My child, stay alert. There will be those who appear strong, who speak persuasively, who use the language of faith, yet secretly chase their own glory. They will use sweet words to lull others to sleep. They will invoke my name to manipulate. They will wear the garments of light to hide their hunger for power. But do not be afraid. If you remain in me, you will discern them. The Holy Spirit within you will warn you. He will stir unease in your soul when something is wrong, even if it sounds eloquent and noble. Trust that stirring, for it is my voice speaking within you. True strength, my beloved, is never found in display or performance. It does not need a stage or applause to prove itself. True strength is built in silence, in obedience, when no one is watching, in prayers whispered that no one hears. It is forged in loneliness, in tears, in nights when you thought you would fall apart but still chose to believe. That is the kind of strength that makes hell tremble, for it depends not on man but on me. The coming battle will expose everything hidden, not to shame anyone but to reveal truth. Falsehood will not survive under my light. What was built on fame will crumble, but what was founded on faith and love will endure. I am bringing purification, not to discard but to refine. Those who allow me to shape them in the fire will emerge like pure gold, shining brighter than ever before. Therefore, my child, do not seek strength in outward things. Do not measure your worth by influence, voice, or position. Your true strength is not in what you possess, but in the one to whom you belong. Let your roots sink deep into me. The deeper they go, the steadier you'll stand when storms come. Do not fear loss, for whatever I build with, my own hands no power can destroy. I do not need you to shine by human light. I need you to reflect mine. When the world looks at you, they must see me in your eyes, in your voice, in the way you love and forgive. Let my presence become the fragrance around you, so that all who draw near may sense a peace they have never known. Let me be your only source of strength, so that when everything else collapses, you still stand, not by power, not by talent, but by faith. I know, my child, what I ask is not easy. You will have to resist the current to go against the flow of this world. But do not fear. You are not alone. I am within you, and what is within you is greater than what surrounds you. The world will try to make you doubt, but do not let it steal your most precious treasure, the intimacy between you and me. For that very presence is your weapon, your strength, your breath of life. When you learn to live in me, everything else will find its proper place. Fear will shrink, Ambition will be purified. Sorrow will turn into prayer. And when you speak, your words will carry power, not because you are strong, but because they come from the place where my presence dwells. When you walk, I will walk with you. When you are silent, I will speak through you. Step deeper into communion, my child. In that place, you no longer need to prove anything. Simply being in me is enough. There you will discover that strength is not a roar, but peace in the midst of the storm. Power is not forcing others to yield, but helping them recognize my love through you. My beloved one, you will stand firm, not by your own strength, not because of your resilience, but because I, myself, live within you. Everything steadfast in you does not come from human will, but from my presence working in the depths of your soul. You will not fall, for I am the rock beneath your feet. Yet for you to truly stand firm, I must do one thing. I must shake everything in you that does not belong to eternity. Do not fear that shaking, my child. Do not tremble when I move what you thought was secure. For I am not destroying you, I am cleansing you. I am not punishing you, I am preparing you. I am not withdrawing grace, I am teaching you how to carry greater glory. Just as the refiner does not despise gold but places it in fire to make it pure, I am placing you in the furnace of sanctification. This fire does not consume, it purifies. It removes the dross, it wipes away the dust of fear, pride, and doubt, so that the radiant part within you, the part born of me, may shine with all its brilliance. My child, do not mistake pain for punishment. Some wounds are not signs of rejection, but proof that love is actively at work. When I remove something from your life, it is not because I despise it, but because I know it hinders you from becoming what I have destined you to be. I love you too deeply to let you live half-heartedly bright, but not pure believing, but not rooted. I must shake you out of complacency, so that you may learn to depend on me, not on your own strength. Every shaking from my hand has a purpose. It comes to separate the false from the true, the temporary from the eternal. It exposes what you once thought was unshakable, your reputation, recognition, relationships, even your concepts about me, so that you may see clearly there is only one thing worthy of trust me alone. I will not allow your soul to be built upon sand. Because I love you, I will draw you out of every false refuge, no matter how tightly you cling to it. When everything around you begins to tremble, do not panic. Remember, this is my work. The old stability is being uprooted, not because you have failed, but because I am expanding you. You cannot carry the greater while still clutching the familiar. Let me dismantle and rebuild. Let me replace the bricks laid by human effort with the foundation of grace. When you learn to stand firm in me, you will realize that nothing external can cause you to fall. I am refining you like pure gold in the fire. I am shaping you to reflect my very light. That light does not come from you, but from me, the one who dwells within you. When the world looks at you, they will no longer see who you once were, but will see the image of me. You will become like a mirror reflecting the glory of the one who redeemed you. I know there are days when this process leaves you exhausted. There are nights when you sit among the ruins of what once was uncertain of what tomorrow will bring. But hear me, in that darkness, heaven is moving. Every shaking is not an ending, but a beginning. Everything I take away, I will replace with something far better, not merely beautiful in human eyes, but precious in eternity. Even now I have sent my angels to stand beside you. You may not see them, but they are real. They go before you to prepare the way behind you, to guard and beside you, to strengthen each step you take. They never turn their eyes away from you, not even for a moment. When you think you are utterly alone, know that their wings are spread around you, forming a spiritual fortress no enemy can penetrate. They are not only present, they are fighting. In the unseen realm, they battle on your behalf, pushing back the darkness that seeks to strangle your faith. They intercept the silent arrows the enemy aims at your mind. They defend your destiny from schemes you do not yet perceive. When you feel something like a gentle breeze passing by, or an unexplainable peace in the midst of the storm that is their intervention, they carry out my command, for I have declared, do not let this one fall beyond what I allow. Even in your lowest moments, they remain. When you collapse in tears, they kneel beside you, upholding your weary soul. When you have no strength left to pray, they lift your groans before my throne. They do not leave you no matter how far you wander, for they act not according to your emotions, but according to my command. They are living proof of my love surrounding you, a love that not only comforts but also protects. You may not see them with your eyes, but you will sense them in your heart. They are the invisible hands that lift you when you think you can no longer rise. They are the strange warmth that envelops you when fear threatens to flood your heart. They are the whispered encouragement when you are on the verge of giving up. And when you overcome, when light returns to your face, they will sing not because they must, but because your victory testifies to my power. Believe this, my child, you are never alone in the refining. I am training you to carry my glory without being crushed by its weight. You cannot bear great light if within you remain unstrengthened places. That is why the fire must come to teach you how to stand, how to endure, and how to believe, even when you cannot see. When you are fully refined, you will reflect my light without distortion. Do not ask me to stop, my child. Ask me to finish what I have begun. Do not plead for the fire to be removed, but for the strength to walk through it. For when you emerge from the furnace, you will not only shine brighter, you will carry a new fragrance, the scent of glory forged in the flames, the scent of a soul that knows the one in whom it believes. And when the world looks at you, they will not understand why you still stand. They will not understand how, after so many moments that seemed like defeat, you still continue. They will not understand because they cannot see the one within you. But you will know it was I who held you. It was I who lifted you up with unseen hands one time after another. And when you look back, you will realize there was not a single moment in that journey when I was absent. My child, do not fear the shaking, for in it I am building someone new, stronger, deeper, and more like me. Trust, be still, and allow me to complete my work within you. For what I began in tears, I will finish in glory. My beloved one, I have placed within you weapons not of the flesh, but of heavenly power. They are not things you can grasp with your hands, but instruments forged in the fire of faith in communion with me, in the hours of prayer known only to me and you. These weapons do not harm others, but they tear down strongholds in the unseen realm, the walls of fear, doubt, and darkness that seek to surround the soul. You must use them. They were not created to lie dormant, but to be activated by trust, obedience, and the worship that rises from deep within your spirit. Use worship as your weapon, my child. Worship is not merely a song or a sound. It is the flame that burns from the steadfast belief that I am still good, even when everything around you falls apart. When storms arise, when darkness seems to close in, do not fall silent. Do not let the enemy steal your song. In that very moment, lift your head, open your mouth, and praise me. For in the instant you sing amidst the storm, you strike a fatal blow to the enemy. He cannot comprehend why you still praise through pain, why you still give thanks through tears, and that is what confuses him and shatters his plans. Worship is the language heaven understands, but hell fears. When you sing of my faithfulness in the darkest hour, you summon my presence. I dwell in the praises of my people. When you worship, you invite me into the battle, and when I arrive, no power can stand. Darkness cannot exist where light dwells. Fear cannot remain where love is exalted. Therefore, my child, do not hold back your praise. Let it flow like a river, washing away every burden, every unseen chain. Speak forth my promises. Do not let them lie silent on the page. Let them be carried on your breath. Every time you speak, you activate the power of my word. You are not merely repeating what I have said, you are planting seeds of life into the atmosphere around you. The enemy knows this power and trembles when he hears you speak in alignment with my word. For when you declare it, you come into agreement with heaven, and that agreement shakes the unseen realm. Say, "The Lord is my refuge, he is my shelter." Proclaim, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." Affirm, "Your grace is sufficient for me." And when you speak, believe, for heaven listens and darkness must retreat. Your voice carries the authority I placed within it. When I created the world, I spoke and it came to be. And because you are made in my image, your words too carry the power to build or to destroy, to sow life or to sow fear. Do not use your mouth for complaint or doubt, for every negative word becomes an arrow the enemy wants you to shoot at yourself. Speak life, speak truth, speak my words. In doing so, you join me in shaping a new reality, one where faith triumphs over fear and light overcomes the darkness. And my child, use my name with reverence and unwavering confidence. The name of Jesus is not a charm to be recited in panic, but a banner of victory raised high upon the battlefield. Every time you declare that name with faith, hell trembles. Every power of evil knows that this name is supreme, the name above all names. No wall can stand against it, no chain can bear its weight. Speak his name, not out of habit, but with awareness that every syllable you utter carries the breath of glory. My name, my child, is the banner under which you march in victory. Imagine yourself as a soldier in the heavenly army, not holding a sword of iron but a flame of faith, not wearing a helmet of metal but the crown of salvation. And before you, waving in the wind, is the banner that bears my name. When the enemy sees it, he knows he has already lost. Not because you are strong, but because you belong to the one who has already triumphed. My child, speak out, declare, do not be silent. Let your lips become instruments in the spiritual battle. Speak life, speak faith, speak light, even when you are surrounded by darkness. For when you speak, you do not merely affirm what you believe. You are sending a signal for heaven to move. Angels hear the sound of your declaration and begin to act. Locked doors that have been shut for years will open. Generational curses will be broken, not because of your strength, but because my word is being released through you. Remember, my child, there is no victory without battle, and no battle without the armor I have prepared for you. Use worship as your sword, my promises as your shield, my name as your banner, and faith as your helmet to guard your thoughts against the blade of doubt. When you put on the full armor of the Spirit, no power can harm you. The storm may blow, but you will not fall. The darkness may draw near, but it will not touch your soul. And I say to you, stand firm. When you lift your head and sing amid the flames, when you declare my truth in the night, when you keep believing, even without seeing heaven, takes note of it. Each time you praise me through your trials, a victory is marked upon the map of eternity. Every word of faith you proclaim becomes an arrow of light shot into the darkness. You are not fighting in vain. You are writing history, not with the sword but with faith, not with the cry of war, but with the song of a steadfast heart. Let me tell you this, deep within your soul, your strength does not lie in resisting but in surrendering. When you yield to me, you become undefeatable. When you place everything in my hands, I do what you cannot. Give this battle to me, but do not stand still. Worship, proclaim, believe. When you do this, you are not merely fighting, you are partnering with heaven to bring victory to earth. And one day when you look back, you will see that the songs of worship you sang through tears were the melodies that opened the path to miracles. The declarations you made in the night were the seeds that grew into a harvest of glory. And the name of Jesus that you proclaimed, that name will forever stand as testimony that you lived, you believed, and you overcame, not by your own might, but by the one who loved you to the end. My beloved child, I am doing the work that only I can do, the work of healing, not surface healing, not merely drying your tears, but reaching deep into the places of your soul that have long been shattered. I am healing the parts you have forgotten, the barren lands within your heart that you no longer dare to enter. There are wounds you thought were gone, memories you believed were buried, words you assumed you had moved past. But I see them, I have always seen them. There is no darkness in you that my light cannot reach. You have lived with those wounds so long that you no longer recognize them. You have built walls around them made of effort, responsibility, and polite smiles. You have learned to cover your pain with perfection, with achievement, with strength. But, my child, I do not need you perfect, I need you real. I do not applaud tears that are suppressed. I cherish the ones that fall in honesty. I do not seek a brave face. I seek a humble heart, a heart willing to admit that it is hurting, my child. I am touching the places you have been afraid to touch, not to deepen your pain, but to make you truly whole. When I place my hand upon those scars, the ache may return, but it is not the ache of injury, it is the ache of healing. Just as a physician must cleanse a wound before binding it, I must open what you have closed too soon so that my light may pour in. You have tried to heal yourself, but there are things only my hands can restore. Do not pretend before me, my child. You do not need to be strong in my presence. You do not have to say I'm fine when you are breaking inside. I do not love you because you are strong. I love you even when you tremble. When you fall, I do not scold. I kneel beside you. When you weep, I do not leave. I listen. Cry if you must, collapse if you need to, for weakness before me does not make you smaller, it wraps you in my power. In my eyes, a single honest tear is worth more than 1,000 insincere prayers. My child, I am the God of restoration. I do not merely patch the cracks. I turn them into lines of glory. Every scar upon your soul is evidence of the love I poured out, a mark that shows you survived and that I was there. I do not erase the past. I transform it into testimony. The places where you once broke, I will make into wells of living water for others. What you have endured, I will turn into words of comfort for those who suffer as you once did. My child, I will speak through silence. Sometimes you seek me in thunder and miracles in the extraordinary, but I come as a gentle breeze. When you sit weary and still, when prayer feels impossible, when the world around you grows quiet, that is when I am speaking. I need not use many words, for a single breath from me can restore your soul. Do not fear the silence. It is not absence, but the sacred space I choose to weave your spirit anew. I also speak through circumstance. You think only good things come from me, but I, my child, also use painful events to shape you. I do not create the pain, but I redeem it. I turn ruins into roads and dead ends into beginnings. When every door closes, I am not silent. I am rewriting your map. When you lose something, do not stare only at the emptiness. Look for what I am preparing behind it. Not a single moment in your life is random. Every fragment rests in my hands, being woven together for good. And my child, I speak even through failure. The world calls it the end, but I call it a lesson of grace. Each time you stumble, I draw you closer to myself, for in failure you see that you cannot save yourself. When you hit the bottom, you will find that I am the deepest foundation. When you lose everything, you will see that what remains is what can never be lost, to me. Do not despise failure, for it is the humble teacher that leads you home. Do not fear wrong turns, for I can turn every detour into a path back to my heart. Beloved child, nothing in your life is wasted. No pain is in vain. No tear falls without meaning. Everything, your mistakes, your betrayals, your darkest nights, is being rewoven by my hand. You see only the fragments, but I see the masterpiece. The threads that appear tangled and random are in my design forming a tapestry of glory. One day you will look back and see that every stitch, every wound, every tear has shaped the most beautiful story one I have written with your very life. I do not erase the painful memories, but I turn them into testimonies of victory. I do not deny the mistakes, but I transform them into places where grace is revealed. I do not hide the tears, I gather them in my bottle. For every tear you shed is a seed that will blossom into a harvest of joy. Everything you thought was lost, I will restore in abundance. Everything you thought was an ending, I will turn into a beginning. My child, when I heal, I do not merely restore what you have lost. I give you what you have never had. I am enlarging your heart so that it may hold the goodness I am about to pour out. And when you rise again, you will no longer be the one who was broken, but the one who bears the mark of grace. Your true beauty will not be found in the fact that you have never known pain, but in the truth that you have been healed by the one who suffered in your place. Believe, my beloved, that your story does not end in tragedy. It is merely passing through a chapter of testing on its way to glory. Each chapter may be soaked in tears, but its ending will be drenched in light. I will not leave any part of you abandoned. Even the parts you are most ashamed of, I long to touch, for I am not repulsed by you. I love you completely. When I look at you, I do not see the cracks, I see the openings where my light can enter. And when you stand again after all this, the light within you will shine brighter than ever before. You will tell your story not to boast of your endurance, but to glorify the one who held your hand through the fire. Your story will reach other souls, those still hurting, still hiding. In you they will see hope, the hope that God is still working miracles. Not only the miracles that change circumstances, but the miracle of turning a shattered heart into an instrument of life. My beloved child, there are movements happening around you, things unseen by the natural eye, yet deeply felt by your spirit. Battles are being waged, not in the realm of flesh and blood, but in the unseen world where prayers become swords, faith becomes a shield, and your tears speak a language heaven understands. I know there are days when you feel a weight pressing upon you, something you cannot name, as if an invisible hand were trying to bind your soul, slowing your steps and making each breath heavy. What you are facing is not just ordinary hardship. It is not merely emotional struggle, financial strain, or fractured relationships. It runs deeper. It is the undercurrent of a spiritual war, a clash between light and darkness. Do not assume that every pain, every obstruction, every fear is simply circumstantial. There are forces at work beyond flesh and reason beyond what your endurance can bear. But my child, do not fear. I am not telling you this to frighten you, but to awaken you, for only when you know you are in a battle can you stand and wear your armor. You have felt it, haven't you? That nameless heaviness, the weariness of your soul, the nights when you feel hollow, even after praying, the moments when you want to give up, though your mind tells you to keep believing. You have wondered why, despite your efforts, the cycles seem endless, temptations that return, fears that refuse to leave, failures that repeat in different forms. You have cried out, "Why, Lord, I have tried. I have repented. I have prayed. I have believed. Why does this still continue?" My child, I have heard every word whispered through your tears. I know your confusion. But understand this. There are battles that cannot be won by your strength alone. There are chains that cannot be broken by sheer will or discipline. This is a battle beyond your reach, yet never beyond my command. There are cords you cannot cut because they are not tied by human hands. They are spiritual bonds, roots from generations past, old wounds, and spoken curses that only my power can shatter. My beloved child, do not be dismayed. I do not speak to frighten you, but to awaken your spirit. You have been living on a battlefield while thinking you were in a place of safety. You believed the trials were random, but in truth, they were warnings from the heavenly realm, signs. that it is time for you to rise, not merely as one who endures, but as a warrior of the Spirit. I am calling you out of the comfort zone, out of the patterns of half-hearted belief, so that you may step into a new dimension of awareness and power. You have often felt trapped in the same cycle, unfulfilled promises, unfinished dreams. Progress suddenly halted. You wondered where you went wrong, but in reality, unseen forces have been working to keep you from stepping into the destiny I designed for you. The enemy is not afraid of those who only listen to the word. He fears those who believe and act upon it. He knows that once you walk in the power of obedience, he will lose his ground. That is why he strikes you with weariness, with doubt, with whispers saying, "Nothing's changing, you're just imagining it." But I, your God, speak the opposite. I tell you that everything is moving. Even when your eyes cannot see, I am at work. Even when you sense silence, my angels are waging war. This battle is not fought on the earth, but in the unseen realm, where every prayer you utter becomes an arrow piercing the darkness, where every act of forgiveness shatters a chain. You are far from powerless. Every time you rise amid weakness, hell trembles. Every time you sing through the night, darkness retreats. My child, there are sensations within you that you cannot explain. They are not confusion, but the awakening of spiritual sensitivity. I am training you to perceive what others cannot. As you move deeper into communion with me, you will begin to discern the currents of the spirit world, both mine and the enemy's. Do not fear this sensitivity, for it is a gift, not a burden. Yet for it to be used rightly, you must remain under the covering of my word and my spirit. When I say do not fear, it is not an empty comfort. It is a command born of love. For I know that fear is the sharpest weapon of darkness. It paralyzes you, silences you, makes you forget that you were created to overcome. Do not let fear define you. Remember, you do not fight for victory, you fight from victory. The one who dwells in you has already overcome the world. You are not seeking to win, you are enforcing what I have already finished. Therefore, my child, do not underestimate what is taking place. Do not assume it is mere coincidence. When you feel heaviness pressing on you, when your sleep is disturbed, when your heart feels distant, even as you pray. These are signs that the enemy is resisting your breakthrough, but they are also signs that I am near, for the light always burns brightest just before dawn. Do not give up. Let the weight that presses upon you become the force that drives you closer to me, not away from me. You do not need to understand everything. I do not require your explanations, only your faith. When you cannot make sense of what is happening, worship. When you cannot speak, rest silently in my presence. When you cannot see the way, let me lead. True faith is not understanding. It is trusting when you still do not understand. And in those very moments when you see nothing, I am accomplishing my greatest works. My child, I am opening your spiritual eyes. I will teach you to discern what is an attack, what is a test, what is my voice, and what is the voice of the enemy. I will train you not merely to survive, but to overcome. I will teach you not only to pray with words, but to pray with power. I will place within you the sensitivity of a watchman, one who knows when to rise, when to kneel, when to stay silent, and when to declare. My child, know this: no storm lasts forever. The weariness you feel is not a sign of defeat, but a reminder that your soul is changing seasons. I am shifting you from endurance to authority, from fear to identity, so that you may know who you are in me. And when you step into that awareness, the darkness will lose its hold over you. My beloved, stay alert, but do not fear. Be strong, but in your dependence on me. For you do not fight alone. I am beside you. My angels surround you. My spirit dwells within you. The enemy may threaten, but he cannot touch a soul covered by the blood of the Lamb. Stand firm, warrior of light, for what I have begun in you I will bring to completion, not only for your sake, but for the souls that will be set free through you. My precious child, you must understand this deeply, as a truth engraved upon your spirit. Your true enemy is not man, nor circumstance, nor the visible trials before you. Your real adversary moves within the unseen realm, where spirits contend for the control of human thoughts, emotions, and destinies. He has no body, yet he slips through every unguarded crack. He does not come in monstrous form, but often appears through ordinary thoughts, careless words, or temptations that seem harmless. He is cunning, my child. He does not act impulsively. He has observed you not merely for years, but across generations. He knows what wounded your parents and your ancestors, and he seeks to continue that pattern within your lineage. He studies your weaknesses, not to understand, but to exploit them. He knows when your heart grows tender, when you are lonely, when you long to be seen. And it is in that very moment that he whispers. He does not shout. He pours subtle words into your ear, words that seem harmless, yet drip by drip, they seep into the mind like poison. He rarely strikes directly, for he knows you have faith. Instead, he erodes thought by thought, doubt by doubt, moment by moment of exhaustion. He whispers, maybe God doesn't hear you. Maybe you did something wrong. Maybe you are not worthy. If you fail to recognize the source of these words, they become seeds planted in your spirit, seeds that grow into trees of fear and doubt. And soon you will bind yourself in invisible chains, thinking you are fighting your own weakness, when in truth you are battling him. My child, understand this. He does not fight fair. He does not strike when you are strong, but when you are weary. He does not attack when you are surrounded by prayer, but when you are alone in the stillness of the night. He uses no visible weapon, but memories, words that once wounded you, scars yet unhealed mistakes for which you still condemn yourself. He creates no new wound. He only deepens the old ones, convincing you that healing will never come. And when he seeks to destroy a soul, he seldom uses rage, he uses distraction. He knows that if he can draw your eyes away from me, he need not pull you down, you will drift away on your own. He uses small things, work, relationships, busyness, harmless pleasures, to capture your attention. A little distraction, a little delay, a little compromise, and gradually, the flame that once burned within you begins to fade. Not because you have forsaken me, but because you have been lulled to sleep. My child, I do not speak to make you afraid, but to awaken you. For I know that what he fears most is not the righteous, but the awakened, those whose souls have realized they carry my authority within them. You are not a victim. You were born to be a warrior of light. Yet to triumph, you must understand the true nature of the battle. When you know who is striking you, you will no longer waste your strength striking in the wrong direction. He cannot destroy your soul, for that soul belongs to me. The blood of the Lamb has sealed you. He knows this, and for that very reason he changes his strategy. If he cannot steal your soul, he will seek to paralyze your faith. He knows that a person whose faith is alive is a threat to his entire kingdom of darkness. So he sows doubt, confuses your thoughts, makes you believe your prayers are meaningless, that I am silent. But my child, do not believe that lie. My silence is never my absence. It is the stillness in which you learn to recognize my voice among the noise. My child, I have not left you on this earth unguarded. I have not sent you into the battlefield without armor. I have placed within your reach everything you need. I am your source, your shield, your shepherd, your wall of fire surrounding you. The enemy may observe, he may disguise himself, but he cannot cross the line drawn by my blood. When you abide in me, you are not merely protected. You are clothed in my very presence. Do not look for strength within yourself, for human strength has limits. Look for it in me, for my power is made perfect in your weakness. Remember, the enemy does not fear you when you stand tall. He fears you when you kneel. He trembles not at your shouts but at your prayers. Every prayer you utter is an arrow of light piercing through the dark. Every time you praise me, in your pain he loses ground. And every time you choose to believe me when you see nothing, his power weakens further. My child, do not let his deceit make you doubt my nature. He wants you to think that I am distant, that I only come when you are strong enough, good enough. But I have never been far. I have never taken my eyes off you. When you are wounded, I feel your pain. When you fall, my hand is already prepared to lift you up. When you lose your way, I keep the lamp burning, waiting for your return. I do not sit upon the throne in indifference. I am beside you in every battle. And know this, my beloved child, light always overcomes darkness. No matter how cunning the enemy seems, he has been defeated since the day I triumphed on the cross. From the moment I declared it is finished, he lost his dominion. You do not fight for victory, you fight from victory. My power within you is not only enough to shield you, but strong enough to break the chains around you and those you love. Therefore, my child, stand firm in me. When you feel the pressure of darkness, do not fear. Remember, I am nearer than ever. When temptation knocks, wield my word as your sword. When exhaustion weighs you down, hide yourself in my presence. When you feel small, remember that I am the great one within you. Keep your eyes lifted. Do not look at fear, for where your eyes rest, there your steps will follow. My child, I am teaching you to discern the enemy's tactics, not to make you obsessed, but to help you overcome with peace. You are not called to live in fear, but to carry light. I want you to know that darkness cannot touch you if you remain in my light. Let your faith grow deep roots, so that even when storms rage, you will not break. Remember, no one can ever snatch you out of my hand. My beloved child, I have foreseen every detail of the battle you are about to face. No attack catches me by surprise, and no scheme of the enemy escapes my sight. I have measured the storm before you ever stepped into it, and I have already prepared everything you will need to endure and overcome. Before you were sent, I saw the entire path, the sharp turns, the deep valleys, the weary days, and even the moments when you would feel you could go no farther. And though I knew it all, I still chose you, not because I saw weakness, but because I saw within you the potential of glory. My child, it is because I know the magnitude of the battle that I have become your victory. You do not walk to win the battle, you walk from victory. I have never asked you to carry it all on your own. I never required you to conquer or resist by your own strength. From beginning to end, this battle belongs to me. You were not called to struggle alone, but to partner with me, to walk in rhythm with heaven, where every plan of darkness is shattered before it can take shape. Beloved one, I do not want you to see me as a mere advisor, someone you turn to only when you are desperate. Nor am I your backup plan, the one you remember only when every other solution has failed. I am not the guest invited at the last minute. I am the supreme commander of this war. When you hand over command to me, I will restore order to chaos. When you allow me to lead, I will carve a path through what seems to be a dead end. There are battles in which the harder you strive, the deeper you sink, not because you are weak, but because that is not a fight you were meant to face alone. There are burdens that cannot be broken by effort, but will shatter in the power of my spirit. There are shadows that will not retreat at your shouting, but will flee when my name is spoken with reverence. My name, child, is not a religious slogan. It is the seal of divine authority, the declaration of victory that makes hell tremble. Learn to step back and let me lead. This is not surrender. It is the height of wisdom. When you release control, you do not lose authority. You grant me the freedom to act. When you cease fearing and choose to trust, I can do what you cannot. You think I move only when you are strong, but no. My might is revealed most fully when you are completely yielded. In your weakness, my power is made perfect. Do not fear, my child, when I call you to be still in the midst of battle. Sometimes you believe faith means taking action, but there are moments when faith is standing still and knowing that I am God. When you stop struggling, you will see my hand fighting for you. I do not want you trembling on the sidelines. I want you standing firm in your place as a co-heir with me, one who knows that a single prayer uttered in my name can set heaven in motion. My dear one, I know there are times when you think you must do something to prove your faith. But faith is not striving to make me hear. Faith is believing that I already have. Faith is not fighting in desperation. It is resting in the victory already secured. I do not need you to prove anything. I only want you to believe. Believe that I am here. Believe that I have never failed. Believe that I know exactly what is happening and that I still reign with supreme authority. There are forces of darkness that bow only when my light shines forth. No words of yours, no effort of your hands can drive them away, but at a single word from me the heavens shake. There are doors you have knocked on endlessly that remain shut, not because they are locked, but because they are not meant to open by effort, they open by heavenly authority. When you let me stand before the door, it will open of itself, for no power can close what I have determined to open. My child, I do not promise that you will never walk through battle, but I promise you will never walk through it alone. Every battlefield you step onto bears my footprints ahead of you. When you enter the darkness, my light has already gone before. When you face the enemy, my armies surround you. You have no need to fear, for the outcome has already been decided. Defeat comes only when you try to wield the sword yourself, while I stand beside you ready, willing and able to fight for you. My child, I did not create you to collapse in defeat. I created you to learn how to fight with me, not against me. Let me lead each step, teaching you how to strike in rhythm with heaven. Let me show you when to be silent, when to declare the word, when to pray, and when to sing. Every movement in the spiritual battle carries a divine tempo, and if you align yourself with that rhythm, you will find yourself winning without striving. Do not confuse action with obedience, my child. There are times when you do much yet move in a direction I have not chosen. Every effort apart from me will lead to exhaustion, but every step taken with me will yield results beyond imagination. I did not call you to succeed by the world's standards. I called you to bear fruit in my kingdom, and fruitfulness only comes when I am the center of all things. When you learn to partner with me, you will discover that my power does not come like a roaring storm, but like a quiet river flowing through a barren desert, reviving what once lay lifeless within you. You will see that I am not only the one who fights for you, but also the one who fights within you, transforming your mind, reshaping your faith, and making you more like me through every battle. Understand this, my child, true victory is not found in defeating the enemy, but in learning to trust me through every circumstance. The enemy trembles not because you know much, but because you know one thing, that you have me. He trembles when he sees you no longer driven by emotions but anchored in faith. When he sees you no longer reacting to darkness but fixing your gaze upon the light. Let me remind you once more, I am your victory. I do not merely give you victory, I am victory itself. When you have me, you have all things. When you walk with me, you are no longer bound by outcomes, time, or the fear of failure. You walk in the assurance that every battle ends in glory, not because you are flawless, but because I never lose. So lift up your head, my beloved. Surrender to me the things you've tried to control. Release them, and allow me to do what only I can do. Let me be the commander, and you the faithful soldier who heeds the voice of his master. When you do this, miracles will unfold not only around you but within you, for that surrender itself is the greatest victory of the soul. My beloved child, understand this. In the unseen realm, unity creates movement. The spiritual dimension does not respond to empty words, but to the spirit with which you choose to align. If your soul unites with fear, you unintentionally empower the realm of darkness. When you agree with bitterness, you granted a seat within your heart, the very place where I long to dwell. But when you unite with my spirit, the entire heaven awakens within you. Everything I have already planted in your soul, potential, strength, faith, and wisdom, begins to stir to life. Unity is not a single act, but a posture of living the steady breath of a soul in tune with the Spirit. When you choose to stand with me, you do not merely stand in the light. You activate heaven's power right here on earth. I move through hearts that cooperate with me, for where there is agreement with my will, no force can interfere. Do you not see, my child, that every time you choose agreement with me, you open the gates for heaven to act? When you say yes to the Spirit, you are not only inviting me in, but also releasing my angels to carry out my commands. Your unity with me creates a sacred space, a realm where miracles move freely, where light pierces even the darkest corners of your life, where I can heal what you cannot even touch. In that sacred space, clarity returns, restoration begins, and divine protection is established. Do not think that partnering with me is a sign of weakness. On the contrary, it is the highest form of spiritual wisdom. The strong are not those who fight alone, but those who place their battles in the hands of the one who never fails. True faith, my child, is not measured by how hard you strive, but by how deeply you allow me to reign. When you align yourself with my will, you step into a holy current where all things move not by human effort, but by the power of the Creator Himself. I know there are moments when you pray and hear silence, when you worship and see no change. You begin to wonder if your prayers vanish into emptiness, if I am truly at work. But my child, spiritual warfare does not always yield instant responses. It is not like what human eyes perceive. When you pray, you are stirring waves in the invisible realm. Those movements begin in the atmosphere and flow into the spirit world, where my angels battle to drive back the darkness surrounding you. When you sing in the midst of sorrow, the heavens move. When you choose to forgive, chains break. When you choose love instead of resentment, hell trembles. When you persist in prayer, even before seeing results, light is being woven, thread by thread, in the unseen realm. You may not realize it, but every prayer, every tear, every breath of perseverance you release is a weapon. You hold in your hands the sword of the Spirit, striking through the air, shattering the walls of darkness, overthrowing the strongholds of the enemy. Never underestimate the power of your obedience. It is not a small act. It is a declaration in the spiritual realm that you have chosen to stand on the side of light. Each time you obey, you push back lies, dismantle plans, and break chains that once held you captive. Obedience is the voice of victory, the sound that darkness fears most, because it rises from a soul fully surrendered into my hands. My child, your worship is never in vain. Even a whisper in the night reaches the throne of glory. When you sing through your brokenness, that sound pierces heaven and becomes a proclamation that drives back the darkness. You think you are merely singing, but in truth you are activating the weapons of heaven. For where there is true worship, darkness cannot exist. And do not forget, your fasting is never meaningless. It is not merely abstaining from food, but an act of humility, a cry of the soul saying, "Not I, but you." Every time you fast, you strip away the power of the flesh, draw your spirit closer to me, and prepare a clear path for the Holy Spirit to move freely. When you spend time in my word, you are not merely reading, you are taking in life itself. Every word I have spoken is not just instruction, but a weapon. It is a double-edged sword, one edge cutting the chains around you, and the other removing the hindrances within you. When my word is etched deeply into your mind, you will see the walls within your heart begin to crumble, the idols of your soul fall, and a new altar rise, an altar built solely for my presence. Every spiritual act you do, whether a small prayer or a moment of sacred silence, reshapes the unseen. When you forgive, you shake the order of the spiritual realm. When you love, you destroy the bonds of hatred. When you choose faith over fear, you create space where miracles can breathe. My child, you are rebuilding the temple of the Holy Spirit within yourself, stone by stone, through faith, through tears, through endurance in the dark. Do not let your natural eyes deceive you. Sometimes the greatest things unfold in silence. When you see no visible change, that is when I am rebuilding your foundation. When you cannot hear my voice, that is when I am working most deeply within you. Like a seed buried in the soil, it makes no sound, yet life is quietly being born. Remember this, my child, every union produces a fruit. If you unite with fear, you will bear anxiety. If you unite with bitterness, you will harvest emptiness. But if you unite with me, the source of life, you will bring forth peace that surpasses all understanding. You will discover that miracles do not always come with thunder, but through small inner shifts, through light breaking into hidden corners, through the calm that settles in the midst of the storm. I am teaching you a spiritual truth that only those who go deep can grasp. Victory is not always loud. Sometimes it comes in silence, in tears, in a sigh lifted up in faith. You do not need to see in order to believe. You need to believe in order to see. My beloved child, I am calling you to rise to a higher realm of faith where there is no room for compromise or hesitation. This is not a gentle invitation, but an urgent call from heaven, a voice resounding from the depths of my spirit, echoing within your soul, urging you to break free from all that has held you for too long. It is time to separate yourself from old habits, from limiting thoughts, from relationships that hold you back or hinder the growth of your spirit. It is time to stand, not as one who merely hears about my glory, but as one who lives in it, carrying it into the world to illuminate every place you go. My child, I am calling you out of the comfort zone of compromise, the place where your soul feels at ease but is slowly drying up. Compromise, my beloved, is not peace. It is the sweet slumber of darkness that makes you forget the light. It begins with little things, a small concession to sin, a silence when truth should be spoken, a hesitation when I have already urged you to act. Each time this happens, a part of your spiritual sensitivity fades like a flame being covered with another layer of ash. But I have come to breathe upon that flame again. I do not want you to merely exist in faith. I want you to burn brightly in it. My child, I am separating you from the things that bind you, not to make you lose, but to make you truly free. I know there are things you still hold on to, not because you love them, but because you fear that letting go will leave you with nothing. But remember this, anything you cling to apart from me will sooner or later wound you. The relationships I did not establish, the habits I did not begin, the thoughts not illuminated by my word. All these are cords that restrain you from the destiny I have prepared. I do not want you to walk half in the light and half in the shadows. I want you to belong entirely to me, for only then will you step into a power you have never known. My beloved one, I am calling you out of hiding, the place where you have concealed yourself behind fear and shame. You think you are not holy enough, not strong enough, not gifted enough to be used by me. But I have chosen you not because you were enough, but because I desire to make you enough. I do not need your perfection. I need your willingness. I do not require you to step out with the brilliance of human light. I ask you to step out under the radiance of mine. You have hidden long enough. It is time for you to stand in the authority I have already placed within your mouth. Do not let fear silence your voice, for the power of life and death lies in the tongue. I have placed my word within your mouth, not for silence, but for declaration, for affirming and shaping reality according to my will. When you speak my word, you are not merely pleading, you are partnering with me to rebuild creation itself. My child, speak. Declare my promises, not once but daily, until my word saturates every fiber of your being. Speak when you feel weak, for then my word becomes your strength. Speak when you are afraid, for then my word becomes your shield. Speak when you see no change, for then your faith is being refined. Every word you declare does not fall into emptiness. It pierces the unseen realm, shakes the atmosphere, and forces darkness to retreat. Speak my word over your home, that peace may cover every room, that light may fill every hidden corner, and that no scheme of the enemy may touch your family. Speak over your body, that every cell may hear the voice of its creator, that sickness may have no place, and that life may flow like a river from its source. Speak over your thoughts, that every fearful imagination may be freed by truth. Speak over your generations, that those who come after you may be wrapped in grace, steadfast in faith, and heirs to blessings ordained since eternity. When you declare my word, you remind the spiritual realm of what has already been accomplished. In your world it may still seem unfinished, but in my eternal dimension it is done. You do not speak to convince me. You speak to pull the reality of heaven down to earth. When you open your mouth, you are choosing to stand with truth, not emotion, with light, not darkness, with victory, not defeat. My beloved, do not measure the power of your words by their volume, but by their alignment with mine. A whisper filled with faith carries more weight than 1,000 shouts without my presence. When you speak in unity with me, the darkness does not merely hear your voice, it hears the echo of the Creator resounding through you. The enemy trembles, not at your name, but at my name proclaimed through your lips. Do not fear if nothing seems to change at first. Remember, every spiritual declaration plants a seed. A seed needs time to sprout, but it will surely bear fruit. As I have spoken in Isaiah 5:5-1:1, so shall my word be that goes forth from my mouth. It shall not return to me void, but it shall accomplish what I please. When you speak my word, you release the creative power of heaven, and nothing can hinder it. Do not speak from fear, for words born of fear create the reality of fear. Do not speak from emotion, for emotions shift, but my word stands forever. Speak from faith, even if your voice trembles. Speak until your trembling ceases, until your soul fully believes, until it is no longer you speaking, but the Spirit speaking through you. I have given you the authority to call forth things that are not as though they were. When you speak by faith, you stand in the authority of heaven itself. Every power and every scheme of the enemy knows it cannot undo what I have decreed. They tremble when you open your mouth in faith, for they know you are activating the authority of the sovereign King. Therefore, my child, rise higher. Stand above the things that once held you down. Let your mouth become a conduit of heaven, where my word flows like the river of life. Speak not to hear yourself, but to remind heaven and earth alike that God still reigns, still speaks, and still moves through you. One day when you look back, you will see that the words you spoke in faith today paved the way for tomorrow's miracles. The declarations you made in the dark will become the light that guides you and many others. For when you are one with me, your voice is no longer merely human. It becomes the echo of heaven resounding upon the earth. Thank you for receiving this message today. Subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we may continue to receive the living word, build unshakable faith, and walk in the boundless love of God. Amen.